Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Update review on our straw target. Way down there. We're gonna shoot some rounds and then we're gonna talk about it. And we're gonna tell you if it's really worth that money that they ask for this thing. So let me shoot a few. Last one. That one went off. All right, let's go check her out. No dead-on bullseyes, but that's okay. No big deal. It's instinctive shooting for you, but at least we got 4 in the yellow either way. It's all right. So this thing has definitely been beaten really bad. It's even had shots up in here, over in here. Oh, it's been mangled pretty good. But you know what? It's still holding together really, really awesome. One of the things I mentioned in the main review, as long as you got something in behind it, then guaranteed this target is going to last you a long time. I'm probably willing to bet that I've got pretty close to going on to 2,000 rounds into this thing between both of my, well, all 3 of my traditional bows, and even my compounds have been shot at this thing a few times. My wife's used it a couple times with one of the bows she has. Mind you, she usually shoots about, I don't know, maybe 10 rounds, and that's enough for her. She's still trying to build up her muscles, but archery uses different muscles than, you know, lifting weights and stuff does. However, that being said, if you have a backer, this is going to be durable, okay? And even styrofoam blocks are fine. You know, like this is 70 bucks Canadian for this target. It's the 5-layer version. I'm going to buy a new one from a different seller, and it's a different brand, but it's in 7 layers. So not that I'm expecting much more durability, but I want more stopping power without a backer. And we want to see if 7 layers gives us even more stopping power. My Nighthawk we're shooting right now has 40-pound limbs on it. So, you know, but what I want to do is show you also the backside of this thing. And as you can see, it doesn't look like a lot of arrows went through there, because it kind of, I wouldn't say it self-heals, but when you pull the arrow back out, it sucks fibers back in. But we haven't quite punched this to the point where it's getting destroyed. Okay, it's still very, very usable. Okay, and a lot of my shots do tend to go into this area, but I still get shots that do go to the outside. I know she definitely does. But overall, and if you watched that review on this thing, you know that in the end I didn't pay for this thing, because they had a big mess up. They screwed up completely. They refunded my money, and they said if you still end up with it, because at that point UPS still didn't have it, and they should have had it like a week or so beforehand. They didn't. Who the heck knows? But I got my refund, and they said you get it, you keep it, which is fine by me. Okay, I still think that it's a really great target, and I think it's definitely still worth some money. Okay, if you're going to not have a backer on this thing, you're definitely going to be in for a shorter lifespan. Okay, your arrows are going to start popping one end out the other, depending on how much weight you're shooting. Now, if all you're shooting is 20 pounds, 30 pounds through it, it's going to stop your arrows for a long, long time, and they're not going to go all the way through. Once you start getting past 30 pounds and you don't have a backer at all, that's when they're going to start going through and going through and going through, and eventually you're going to self-destruct. I find that with a backer on it, it gives a lot of reinforcement to the target itself on the backside. And of course, my arrows can't go all the way through, you know, two feet plus of styrofoam when they're being initially shot into this. And I did originally shoot this without a backer on it, and then I went to a backer, and ever since doing that, because these targets are worn right out, this is a perfect setup for having the backer on here. So I would definitely recommend, yes, it's a good buy overall, okay? Get the 5 layer. Do not go anywhere below 5 layers, okay? And you can see the layers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when you see the red on the outside, that's 5, okay? And like I said, there's another seller that has a 7. This company does not seem to have a 7 that I found yet, okay? However, when it comes down to it, it's got almost 2,000 rounds into it, and it's still doing really, really well, okay? Even whatever they're using to sew all this together with and bind it is doing a good job. Mind you, I am eating away at this ribbon material. Now, another thing I do want to point out that I think is a bit of a negative to this thing is definitely the strap. This is just, it's like the stuff you buy in a craft store for next to nothing, and you wrap a bow tie around a present kind of material. I mean, it's crappy. I mean, it works, and it is working, but it is still crappy. They should, you know, for how long this thing could last you, they should have put paracord through. And I'm still debating on the whole paracord thing, but I'm kind of waiting until I actually miss and shoot and snap this. So, you know, because I'm just lazy. That's all it is. For me, it's just pure laziness, right? But you can get different kind of stands. You can make your own stand, which, to be honest with you, it'd be way cheaper to make your own stand. But otherwise, it normally sits like this. Okay? I would think that a loop going this way on either side would have been more practical, but they did it this way. The other way would have given more support, but in this case, this works the way it is, at least for my setup, okay? Buy it. It's a good target. It's definitely proven itself that it's got some really good longevity. I'm going to keep shooting this until there's like absolutely no core left, which for how many shots I've put through this so far and hit the core, which is the big yellow area mostly, yeah, it's going to be a while before that's going to happen. So far this is the longest living target that I've bought lately. I bought these tough blocks for 50 bucks a piece. They didn't last me long, okay? I had to start covering pink styrofoam insulation in front of the one area just to get some more life, and even that is pretty much about done. You know, so yeah, there's $100 gone there, less than $100 for this thing. And you know, even just having even a couple layers of pink styrofoam behind it is still going to give you exceedingly high longevity out of this target. You just got to have some kind of a, you know, I would recommend pink styrofoam. It's a lot more denser than the cheaper crap, right? So, and it'll work for quite a while. Besides, you can buy a whole board, cut it into a 2 foot by 2 foot section, layer it 4 deep if you want. Use the whole board up. Either way, it's going to last a long time as a backer for this thing, which is going to make this thing last way longer. All right, so that's kind of where I'm at on this. I do think it's worthwhile buy, okay? It is nice shooting at a more traditional target, and having that bigger bullseye area, I don't feel so bad. Not getting dead on all the time, but I have gotten a lot of straight dead on shots, shooting instinctively. I've tried gap a few times, and I got a couple, you know, bullseyes there right in the middle, but mostly off from the middle, because gap's a weird way to shoot for me. I can't really wrap my head fully around it, but I'm working on it. It was explained to me today from my archery guy, so I'm trying his ideas to learn gap. So far, not so bad. Check out my last video. But I still prefer instinctive regardless. And I have shot the compounds at this thing. I've got one running at 54 pounds, and another one now set at 50. And even they're not wrecking this thing like it is. It's definitely got some good durability, guys. So something to look at. The only thing you have to be concerned about with whatever seller you're dealing with straw targets is most of these sellers do give you warning. If there is mold on it, let us know and we'll just replace it, kind of deal. Because we don't know where the Amazon warehouses store this stuff. Mine did not come with any mold whatsoever, but it has happened to a few people, and they've had their targets replaced lickety split, no problem, and the replacements have been fine. So it's not an issue there. But it is straw material, so it cannot be stored in cold, damp places or cool, damp places, right? So I just keep it in my living room, you know, on a table, and that's where I'm storing it, along with some of my other targets. Except this big old behemoth, that stays in my shop. But anyway, that's it. I'm not gonna give you a full-on, I don't even know if we gave a star rating last time. I never thought to look at that video, but you know what? Here's what I'll do for you. This is the last time you're gonna hear about this as a review, so I'm gonna leave it at, I'm gonna put it 4.5 and I'll leave it there. I think it's great. But they do need to come down a little bit, I think, in price. Make it a little bit more reasonable, at least for Canadians, for sure. But then again, that affects Americans too. They get it for, you know, really super cheap. So kind of a tough call what it should really honestly sell for. But given how durable it's becoming with a backer, it's getting more and more worth that $70, toward that $70 price to me. Because it is longevity wise, it's lasting. So that's one thing I can't argue with, but that's only because I have a backer on this. If there was no backer, I probably would have split this thing apart a long time ago. Who knows? It's hard to say. Yeah, the next one I do buy is going to be a 7-layer. I want to try a 7-layer one next, and they're about 90 bucks Canadian. So, you know, what's an extra few bucks to try it out and see? Anyway, that's it. That's all. See you in the next one.